So if you were, the captain of your own ship, would you invite Esther and Annie?
I feel like if we're out to like look for a treasure, say for instance, like in Steve Zissou, they were looking for the jaguar shark, right?
Right.
I feel like Esther would be really good at the planning and the delegating part. And
From
then,
land.
yeah. And from land. She'll be phoning it in or by telegraph.
Okay.
Annie would be just big entertainment for the crew.
Okay.
She's there for, for a big boost of comedic morale, I think.
So who else do you get into this adventure and in your ship? Who do you hire as your crew?
I'd have Carlos there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Carlos is, he's a sweetie pie. I'm trying to think of who my captain would be. I know I'm the captain, right?
You are.
Oh shit! Do you know that my dad, in the Philippines, our business was with shipping. He had cargo ships, so
Yeah, you're just realizing now you're the captain, but I feel deep inside you are.
I'm a fucking captain.
You are. Yeah.
Thanks, Fancy. I appreciate that. Yeah, but all the people I would bring onto my ship are people that are my tried and trues. My sister, my best friend, all ocean people who like love marine life, people who could probably like be good with navigation. Who knows?
Do you bring Jules?
Fuck yeah.
But she doesn't know how to do anything.
She knows. That girl has fooled everybody. She has fooled everybody so that no one asks anything of her. Mm-hmm. But she can do it all. Like when I'm not around, she cooks the best meals. And then when I come home, like, who cooked this? She was like, oh, Mates, my mom. She's like, Mates brought it over. And I was like, I didn't cook that. It's because she doesn't want to be asked to cook things.
I see.
But she can do it all. She is such a whiz at everything. She picks things up really fast. She doesn't want to do it for you. So she keeps her talents a secret.
So living with Jules all these years, bringing her over and all of that, do you want to be a mom? Does she make you want to be a mom more or less?
Oh, she would make anyone want to be a mom. She is such an asset to my life. She adds so much, I don't know, so much of everything. She's such like a team player. Mm-hmm. But with or without her, I think I've always had mommy tendencies. I have 7 animals, Fancy.
Right.
I think there's a pattern there. I've always had animals. I've always liked being a caretaker in the relationship,
You mentioned a little bit, I think you went to Whiskey Ginger and talked to Andrew about how your relationship with Bobby, like you guys grew a lot and heal a lot of yourself, but in the process you also lost some of that, I guess spontaneity or like that, the fire. Is that part of the growing up or is part of the healing, like kind of like you have to leave some part of you behind to become a more working, functional person?
Version. Yeah, I'd say so. Some would argue that I was way more fun, way more this and that in my 20s, early 30s, but that was just not sustainable for me. So it was, I was, this just fun thing like that, people seemed to really enjoy my company then, but I felt like that I wasn't being who I truly was. And, I don't know if you're asking about like just the fire going out between two people when you're both like working on yourselves.
Mm-hmm. If that's part of the process, is like, I'm a better person, but at the same time, I guess the relationship that I build, I have to leave behind somehow.
Yeah, I'll admit, like when Bobby and I first got together, it just felt very fiery, exciting, sexual, all of these things, like when you first that happen when you first meet somebody. and I was introduced into his world, and everything was so brand new. And but when we started to see the cracks in our relationship, and we started to kind of acknowledge them, and I start to work on myself, yeah, maybe there is a sense that like you become each other's safe harbor. And when you become each other's safe harbor, you you don't really want to tear their clothes off. You know, like there is a sense it does zap the sexual energy like a little bit, but also we didn't do a lot of things right. I'm a codependent. He's an addict. It's a match made in hell and heaven at the same time. But I went into full caretaker mommy mode, and he went into full like weaponized incompetent / baby mode. And you know, we worked really well with those were our roles, but it wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
You know, and there's no sex when you're mommy, or you know, there just isn't. I don't want to fuck my kid. I don't want to fuck my kid.
Right. I hope so.
I don't fuck my kid.
I agree on that one.
So
Oh, thanks.
so how do you have a healthy relationship and be the best version of yourself then?
Two things. You could grow apart, or you could grow so deeply entangled with somebody. And Bobby and I were so deeply entangled. Like, my whole identity was him. Like, everything. I woke up always thinking, what does he need today? Like, did I miss a call from his manager? Do I need to wake him up at a certain time? Like, everything, I just prioritized him so much. Also, by the way, like, of course, like all of this knowing that if he succeeds, I succeed. Like, I'm not like, if Bobby does well, I do well. I always knew that was going to be the trickle down effect. So I was very conscious of that. And in that way, I did take care of myself. I'm like, I'll boost him up. I'm riding these fucking coattails. And I did with Tiger Belly. But I think now if I were to do it differently, I just, you know, I set boundaries pretty early on. Like, you need to take care of yourself. You need to be your own whole thing. And I have my own set of dreams. I have my own set of things to do. And when we get home, let's connect. Let's have weird sex. And then we can individuate. But Bobby and I, it was just so entangled.
Is he becoming this Alistair character in the movie, the Jeff Goldblum, like this rich ex-boyfriend that nobody else is gonna match, you know? Or how do you see him now?
I still see him as a little bit of a Steve Zissou.
Yeah.
There's like a scene in that movie where he finally reads he gets the front cover of the magazine, right? That Kate Blanchett's character wrote. And all the while, like leading up to this, he was like, what are you going to say about me? You better not be saying this about me, like being like worried that she was criticizing all of the things. But finally, he gets the front page and he reads it. And he was like, you know what? I am those things. They're not, maybe, they are critical, but I did those things and I am those things.
Yeah. And I can live with that.
Yeah. And I really do love that about Bobby, is that he's okay being himself. Like, he's like, yeah, like, I have a lot of frailties, and some things I get extremely right, and some things I'm really just bad at, but I am those things, you know?